In the dim glow of the lab, Fiero and Victor clamp Crown Princess Ariana onto the cold table as alarms hum in the background. A gust of nerve-wracking silence passes as Ariana instinctively tenses, trying to pull away while the restraints dig into her wrists. Shuriki steps into the frame, a cold syringe glinting as he raises it toward Ariana's neck, the needle poised for a decisive strike. Desperation fuels Ariana as she wriggles free from one restraint, only to be yanked back by Fiero and Victor, who press her down with merciless force. With Ariana pinned again, the scene locks into a breathless standoff as the needle looms, the lab filled with the echo of halted fate and the tremor of shifting loyalties. Fiero and Victor pin Ariana to the cold table as gleaming instruments hum in Shuriki's lab. Ariana struggles, her mouth covered with tape as she screams for help that never comes. Shuriki crouches by the table, calm and cold, insisting that she stay quiet and endure what comes next. With clinical precision, Shuriki retrieves a needle and prepares to take a neck sample from Ariana. The scene cuts to silence and tension as the outcome hangs in the balance. The labs hum a chilling backdrop. The cold fluorescence hummed like distant machinery as the lab around Crown Princess Ariana loomed with eerie precision. Ariana struggles against leather restraints, her breath ragged as she tests the limits of the grip that pins her to the table. Shuriki and Victor tighten their hold, their faces set with clinical coldness as the monitors beep in a cold clinical rhythm. Ariana moments away from tears. She uses a sudden twist of her body to force a momentary break in their grip, a spark of defiance flashing in her eyes. The lab hushes as Shuriki leans in with a cold smile, signaling that the test will continue no matter the cost. In the shadowed throne room, Shuriki and Victor step closer as Ariana eyes the door for any sign of escape, the air tight with venomous calm. Ariana, with a defiant whisper, declares that she will not yield while Fiero's footsteps echo from the hall, stirring a dangerous resolve. Shuriki places a gloved hand on Ariana's shoulder to steady her, while Victor slides a shackled chain around her restraint, signaling the moment of peril as Fiero advances with the needle lowered. Ariana locks eyes with Fiero and pleads silently for mercy, while Shuriki, Lang, and Victor exchange a wordless glance that hints at a plan beyond the immediate act. The scene ends on a breath held between cruelty and mercy as a distant bell tolls, promising that the next moment will redefine what each character believes is possible. Ariana strains against the cold restraints, her eyes blazing with determination as dim lab lights flicker above. Shuriki closes his fist around the restraints, tightening the grip as a cold smile cuts across his face. Fiero moves with calculated calm, reaching for a gleaming needle kept in a nearby rack as a whisper of danger passes the air. Ariana twists and tugs with all her strength, sparks of effort flashing in her eyes as she fights the restraints. With a final push, Ariana breaks free and Shuriki steadies himself as Fiero advances, the needle glinting ominously between them.
Shuriki issues a cold order, commanding Victor and Fiero to restrain the Crown Princess as the moment of the test draw near. Victor and Fiero move in with measured, careful steps, gripping Ariana gently but firmly as she tries to break free. Ariana struggles, eyes flashing with defiance as the technicians hover nearby, awaiting the next sterile procedure. Shuriki steps forward, raising a gleaming needle, calm and clinical as the moment of the jab approaches. The needle hovers at Ariana's neck, the room listening to the hush of power as the procedure begins, fate hanging in the cold air.
In the shadowed chamber of her lab, Shuriki examines a gleaming needle, her eyes cold and calculating. Crown Princess Ariana risks a whispered defiance as alarms faintly echo through the corridors. Victor and Fiero move with practiced precision, each grasping Ariana as she struggles to break free. They hoist Ariana toward a cold lab table, where unspoken menace lingers in the air like electricity. Shuriki looms nearby as the scene cuts to black, leaving the outcome and whether the needles will be used unresolved. Ariana strains against her restraints in a dim, humming chamber, desperate to break free, Shuriki enters with a cold smile as Fiyero and Victor clasp Ariana and haul her toward the shadowed lab. In the neon-lit lab, Shuriki steps closer, cradling a glowing needle while Ariana thrashes in the captor's grip. Shuriki tilts Ariana's head, the needle catching a sharp gleam as a heavy hush falls over the room. With a decisive jab, the needle sinks into Ariana's neck and the scene fades to black as her body goes limp.
In the dim throne room, Shuriki eyes Ariana as a gleaming needle catches the light. Ariana strains against her restraints, her breath quick as she fights to free herself. Victor and Fiyero surge forward, pinning her arms while Shuriki commands them with cold precision. With a cruel smile, Shuriki orders them to lay Ariana on the cold table, looming over her. "No!" she cries, but Shuriki clamps a hand over her mouth, silencing the princess as the scene tightens.
Shuriki closes in with a cold calm as Ariana senses the danger of the moment. With a swift, forceful grip, Shuriki restrains Ariana, the crown princess trying to break free. Ariana's muffled cry echoes as the scene freezes, the weight of the moment pressed into stillness. The room holds its breath as Shuriki asserts control, a dangerous balance of authority and menace filling the chamber. As the moment escalates, a decision hangs in the air, leaving the fate of the crown princess uncertain. Shuriki grips Crown Princess Ariana as she is hand-gagged, while Jim stands firm, refusing to hand over the flash drive. A tense command echoes as Ariana instructs Jim to surrender the flash drive, but Jim defiantly refuses. Shuriki orders a whispered relay to tell Jim to hand it over, urging again that it must be given. Victor and Fiyero lunge toward Jim, but in the scramble, he drops the flash drive onto the floor. The flash drive skitters across the floor as chaos erupts, the scene closing on Shuriki's cold gaze and Ariana's defiant glare.
Shuriki grips Ariana tightly in a grim, claustrophobic moment as the crown princess struggles against her captor. Shuriki orders Fiyero and Victor to hold Ariana securely as she keeps her grip and moves toward a desk with a computer. A flash drive is plugged into the computer, and Ariana realizes the shocking results displayed on the screen. Ariana strains to break free, attempting to slip from Victor's grasp toward Fiyero while the scene crackles with tension. With the escape attempt underway, the room freezes as the consequences of the drive's contents loom, leaving characters at a perilous crossroads.
Shuriki announces the start of the procedure as Ariana struggles, her breath shaking with fear and defiance. Ariana fights to break free, writhing against the tight grip of Shuriki and the guards. Shuriki orders Victor and Fiyero to pin Ariana down even harder as the ritual of the sample begins. Ariana screams in pain, her voice echoing through the cold chamber as the procedure continues. The room grows still as the current test concludes, leaving Ariana breathless and the captors silent, awaiting the next step of the experiment.
A tense moment unfolds as Shuriki dominates the lab, keeping Ariana pinned to the table while cold instruments loom nearby. Ariana struggles, her voice cutting through the sterile air as she pleads for release, insisting she will not be a subject of further experiments. Shuriki refuses, declaring that Ariana's fate is sealed as ongoing experiments push forward under the cold glow of monitoring screens. The needle comes into view, a sterile tool gleaming as Ariana's yell erupts in a raw, muffled scream while the room tightens with the weight of the moment. As the needle nears its mark, a moment of silence holds the room, balancing fear and resolve before the scene shifts to the next act.
In a dim command room, Shuriki issues an urgent order, and the tension tightens as her plan moves forward. Victor and Fiyero hurry through the corridors as the alarm lights flash, Ariana calling out in a desperate but restrained voice. In a sterile room, Ariana is held steady by guardians who move with practiced calm, the moment charged but non-graphic. Shuriki steps closer as the operating apparatus hums, instructing Ariana to remain still while the procedure unfolds. Ariana lets out a cry of fear as the scene lingers on the fear and determination in the room, the moment heavy with consequence. A crown princess lies restrained in a high-tech lab as two guards pin her down, the hum of machines intensifying the uneasy silence. Shuriki stands over the scene, her presence chilling as she directs the procedure with an icy, authoritarian gaze. Ariana winces as a needle nears her skin, her pleas muffled by the tight grip of the two guards who hold her down. Shuriki whispers for quiet, insisting that the procedure will not hurt. As the needle is positioned with practiced precision, the scene tightens to silence, the needle poised, and Ariana braces for what comes next as the lab hums around them.
A crown princess lies still in a Stark operating room, the hum of machines surrounding her as the tension tightens. Shuriki steps forward with a cold gaze and warns Ariana that escape is futile as the exam room looms and fear flickers in Ariana's eyes. Desperate to break free, Ariana surges toward the guards, but the grip around her wrists and shoulders locks her in place. Shuriki tilts Ariana's chin upward with a chilling smile, saying softly that another escape will earn her the needle's bite. Ariana is forced onto the exam table, the guards pinning her with unyielding strength as the needle is prepared to strike her stomach.
Victor and Fiyero pin Ariana to the cold lab table as her eyes flare with defiance, but her struggles are kept deadly still by their grip. Shuriki steps forward, her silhouette looming as she raises a gleaming needle toward Ariana's neck, the air ticking with impending danger. Ariana strains against the grip, a muffled cry escaping as the attempt to jab the needle meets her desperate, thwarted escape. With a swift motion, Shuriki gags Ariana and commands Fiyero to fetch a taser, the atmosphere tightening like a held breath. The scene ends on a flicker of electric anticipation as the taser comes into view, the lab counting down to a perilous moment.
Ariana strains against the guard's grip as she fights to break free from their clutches. Shuriki commands Victor to retrieve the needle, her voice cold and commanding in the Stark laboratory. Ariana breaks away again and bolts through the hall, but more guards descend, grabbing at her as she runs. Shuriki steps out of her lab, retrieves the needle, and steps toward Ariana with a calculated, clinical calm. The needle finds Ariana's neck and she collapses, knocked out for a while as the lab's lights flicker around her. Ariana cedes with resolve as she lunges toward the exit, only to find the lab's doors sealed and the corridor crawling with unseen danger. Shuriki's voice booms as guards grab Ariana, pulling her back while she watches with a cold, controlled glare. With a measured, icy tone, Shuriki lifts Ariana's chin and warns that escape is futile, the stakes hanging heavy in the sterile air. Back in the examination room, guards haul Ariana to the table, strap her down, and seal the restraints as the room hums with ominous machinery. Shuriki approaches with a gleaming needle as Victor steps forward, and Ariana's scream pierces the sterile air, a moment of helpless agony that lingers. Ariana is strapped to a cold metal table in a high-tech lab, struggle visible in her eyes as she eyes the exit. Shuriki, calm and clinical, hovers over Ariana and declares that the experiment must continue. While the room hums with ominous machinery, Shuriki signals the guards to prepare a gag and proceed with the next stage of the procedure, keeping Ariana quiet as the machine whirs to life. Ariana strains against the restraints, eyes begging for release, while Shuriki calmly instructs the others to stay still as she prepares her instruments. With a final command to keep quiet, Shuriki resumes the experiment, the lab filling with a steady hum as Ariana remains restrained and hopeful for a chance to break free.